She was lying on the cold pavement, barely breathing, her body curled protectively around a life the world had already forgotten. Rainwater mixed with dust beneath her, and people walked past as if she were invisible, as if her pain did not matter. Her eyes were half open, unfocused, and her trembling hands clutched her swollen belly as waves of unbearable pain tore through her. Death felt closer than help, and hope felt like a cruel memory. No one knew her name. No one knew her story. And no one knew that in just a few moments, fate was about to collide two completely different worlds on that same street. Before this story goes any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that one moment can change everything, please take a second to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel for more real, heart-touching stories. Also, tell us in the comments where you're watching from. It truly means a lot to us and helps this message reach more hearts. Her name was Sarah Mitchell, and life had not been gentle with her. She had once been a bright young woman with dreams of becoming a nurse, someone who wanted to help others heal. But tragedy came early. Her parents died in a car accident when she was barely 20. With no family to lean on and no money to continue her studies, Sarah fell into a cycle of unstable jobs, abusive relationships, and finally homelessness. When she discovered she was pregnant, the man responsible disappeared without a trace. Fear, hunger, and exhaustion became her daily companions. Still, she protected the baby growing inside her with a quiet, stubborn love. She skipped meals so the baby might survive. She slept in alleys to avoid shelters where she felt unsafe. And now, on this rain-soaked street, her body was failing her. Across town, Drive, Jonathan Reed was living a life most people only dreamed of. A world-renowned obstetrician, he owned a luxury penthouse, drove an expensive car, and was respected in elite medical circles. He delivered babies for celebrities, business tycoons, and politicians. His schedule was packed, his reputation flawless. Yet beneath the success, his life was painfully empty. Years ago, his wife and unborn child died due to complications that even his own medical expertise could not prevent. Since then, Jonathan buried himself in work, believing money and achievement could silence grief. He saved lives every day, yet his own heart felt lifeless. That evening, Jonathan was being driven home after a long day at the hospital. His eyes stared blankly out the window as rain streaked down the glass. As the car slowed at a traffic light, something on the sidewalk caught his attention. A woman collapsed on the ground, surrounded by people who stood at a distance, unsure, uncomfortable, unwilling to get involved. Jonathan's trained eyes noticed details others missed: the way she held her abdomen, the unnatural tension in her body, the unmistakable signs of labor mixed with medical distress. His heart pounded. He didn't think about his suit, his car, or his status. He told the driver to stop. The moment Jonathan stepped onto the street, his world shifted. Kneeling beside Sarah, he immediately understood the severity of the situation. She was in advanced labor, severely dehydrated, and dangerously weak. There was no time to transport her to a hospital. Every second mattered. People stared in shock as this impeccably dressed millionaire doctor removed his coat, placed it beneath her, and took control of the chaos. His voice was calm, focused, almost gentle, as if he were speaking to life itself rather than a dying woman on the street. The rain continued to fall as Jonathan did what he had done thousands of times before, but never like this. No sterile room, no medical team, just his hands, his knowledge, and his determination to save both mother and child. Sarah drifted in and out of consciousness, clinging to the sound of his steady presence. Pain ripped through her, but somewhere deep inside, she felt something else too: safety. For the first time in months, someone truly saw her. Minutes felt like hours. Bystanders watched in silence, some crying, some praying, as a miracle unfolded in the most unlikely place. Finally, a fragile cry pierced the air. A baby boy was born on the street, wet with rain and life, breathing against impossible odds. Jonathan wrapped the baby carefully, his hands shaking, not from fear, but from emotion he had buried for years. In that cry, he heard echoes of the child he had lost. In that moment, something inside him broke open. An ambulance arrived soon after, rushing Sarah and her newborn to the hospital. Doctors worked tirelessly to stabilize her. Against all expectations, she survived. Days later, Sarah woke up in a clean hospital bed, sunlight streaming through the window. Her baby lay beside her, alive and healthy. Tears streamed down her face as reality settled in. She had been given another chance, both of them had. Jonathan visited her quietly, without cameras or praise. He arranged for Sarah to receive proper medical care, counseling, and housing. He funded her recovery not as charity, but as responsibility. Over time, he helped her enroll in a nursing program, honoring the dream she once thought was lost forever. Sarah named her son Noah, because he was her rescue from the flood of despair. As months passed, Jonathan's life transformed too. He found himself visiting Sarah and Noah often, not out of obligation, but connection. The emptiness that once consumed him began to fade. He realized that love hadn't left his life, it had simply returned in a form he never expected. The street where despair once lived became the birthplace of hope, healing, and family. Years later, Sarah stood proudly in a nurse's uniform, watching her son run through a hospital hallway, laughing. Jonathan watched them with quiet tears in his eyes, understanding that wealth had never made him rich, compassion had. One choice, one moment of humanity, had changed 3 lives forever. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that kindness still exists in this world and that no one is ever truly invisible, please take a moment to like this video, share it, and subscribe. Your support helps stories like this reach people who need hope the most. And before this story ends, we want to ask you something special. Please comment below with one word that this story made you feel. Your words matter, just like every life does.